Hello everyone, I'm back and today we're gonna look at some r/entitled kids because I need more reasons to lose faith in humanity and really hope for the meteor to kill us all. Okay, so this first post says that entitled schoolmate calls 911 for no reason. This happened in junior high, meaning the kid and I would have been 13 to 15 years old. I was at the office because I had to call my grandparents to come pick me up as I was not feeling well. After I had called them, I was going to my locker and passed three guys standing around the school's payphone, which was ringing. I had never heard a payphone ring before for me. Yes, I probably should have. They had to sign me out. While watching, a mate of mine along with, I'm assuming his parents, I come to understand that he must have called 911, which if you've never seen a payphone, is free, and immediately hung up. He is the type of student who, although he was friendly when he wanted to be, acted rude and slightly aggressive. However, I would never expected him to pull this kind of stunt. I don't know what the consequences were, although I believe he was, at the very least, suspended for a little while. Um, dude, you're, if you're like 13 to 15 years old, I think you would probably know that, doing that is kind of a crime. EK, seriously, I think you probably shouldn't have done that, mate. Okay, so this next one is called Little Cousin Blows Up My Whole Minecraft World. For some backstory, about some weeks ago, my little cousin from the US came to my house. I live in Mexico. He is an 8-year-old that's always crazy since their parents are divorced that wants everything to go his way or he will go crazy. Now on to the story. Okay. Well, one day, while he was at my house, I was playing Minecraft on my Nintendo Switch before I went to hang out with some friends, but when I was preparing, I didn't fully close Minecraft and just paused it. I turned off my Switch, and when I came back, I didn't see my Nintendo Switch where I left it. I assume my mom just put it on my Switch on another place. But when I went to ask my mom, she said my cousin had it because he wanted to grab and play with my mom and my aunt's valuables and my limited edition Funko. So they just let him play with my Nintendo. I, still calm, asked my mom where my cousin was, and so I went where she told me and found my cousin watching TV. So I asked him if he could give me my Nintendo Switch, but he refused. And when I tried to take it from him, he started yelling and crying, so our mom comes. After a while of his mom telling him to give me my Switch or he was going to be grounded, but in the end, he gave it to me. I started playing Minecraft again and I noticed he was in creative with TNT and it looks like and I looked around and he effing blew my entire world up, including my builds, farms, pets, hubs, house, nether builds, my statue, villagers, chests, XP farms, my training house, all the new 1.17 things, and builds, and my blue axolotl. I don't know how to pronounce that. I was mad, so I went to him to ask him why did he blow up everything, and he just said to me because he was bored and because Minecraft was boring, so I went to our moms and told them everything and showed them. Then an hour and a half of him yelling and kicking like a little baby and his mom yelling at him happened, and then they just stayed the night and moved to a hotel for the night. And luckily, I did have a copy of the world, but without all my 1.17 builds and my blue axolotl. I don't know how to pronounce that. I spent weeks trying to get them get I spent weeks trying to get, but in the end, I did kick my cousin out of my house. Here, and there are all the links if everyone wants to see before and after. Yeah, well, let's just look at the, sure, we'll just look at the, before and after. Oh, that's quite impressive. Oh, yeah, okay, that's quite impressive. I mean, OP, if you're watching this, but you're probably not, but I gotta admit, this is quite awesome. I'm definitely upvoting this. But I think your builds are awesome. Eh. I mean, personally, if I would be, I do think that what you did was, I think what you did is kind of the right thing. Although because I personally, I wouldn't be so kind to your cousin if, because if they did that to me, because I really wouldn't be so kind to them. And that's a given from me. Okay, so this next post. My homophobic former friend. So this happened a few months ago and it popped into my head again, so I've decided to post it here. Also, excuse me, as a side note, the friend in the story who was accused by him is no longer my friend, which might be a small post in it of itself. Okay, EK, entitled kid who is former friend 1, just mentioned, the friend just mentioned now. Friend 2, one of my less close friends, but was involved. Friend 3, another friend of mine who was involved somewhat as well. 4, got lied to at the end. CF, close friend, and now the story. I met EK about 2 years ago in school, and he seemed like an okay guy, so we became friends. Now, one thing I should probably mention is that this was before I was friends with friend 1 to 3, and at the time, CF was living in another town while I didn't have his number. So I was kind of desperate for friends. Our friendship continued into the next school year, and this is when CF moved back into my town and I befriended friend 1 to 3. Things went alright at first. Now, one thing that you need to note is that friend 1 and 2 are both bisexual and friend 3 is transgender. Now, EK was Christian, as am I. We started discussing homosexuality in transgender groups, and in a group chat he was in, to which he said that he didn't like trans or gay people, period. We all got kind of mad about him and started saying that friend 1 to 3, and he started saying that friend 1 to 3 were going to go to hell. I removed him from the group chat to avoid further fighting, and then he messaged me while saying if you're ignoring me just because I say I hate gays, then you're messed up. And then blocked me when I didn't respond. My friends, including CF, agreed that he was being a homophobic jerk, but then I forgave him. He then started actually venting about me, about which I don't mind, but the problem was that he kept venting every day. I was happy to help him, but I already have many mental health problems. I began to feel overwhelmed with everything, and he sometimes even rejected the advice I gave him and tried to convince me to hate things he didn't like. He also kept asking if I was gay. One day I told him that I was overwhelmed and he decided to go with his family for help. But the story doesn't stop here. He accused friend 1 of being a bully towards him and said that she always starts fights with him when he was minding his own business. I asked friend 1 about this, and apparently he was insulting her friends and starting fights with her and friend 2. I was fuming but decided to stay calm. I told him that this wasn't acceptable, to which he freaked out completely. He then started to call her ugly, obese, and said that she was deserved to go to hell. I was furious and told him off for what he did, and then he started to guilt trip by telling me that he couldn't believe that he turned into what he turned into, and he was going to do terrible things to himself. I calmed down and said things seemed to have been settled. Then came the fateful day when I dared to spam the word gay to him in his DMs. He then called me a bundle of sticks used for burning and said that I was gay. I told him off for using slurs, and then he used the hard N word and laughed about it. He wasn't joking, he was straight up mocking me. Then I talked to him about how gays deserve rights, and he said that they shouldn't be treated as humans. He then said our founding fathers apparently didn't make our country for it to be full of gays, and that they should all leave the country. And all the while using the Bible as an excuse. I'm a Christian, and so I know about the Bible too. I told him that there was a part of the Bible in that they say love thy neighbor, and he said he didn't care and that he hated gays. He showed friend 1 the chats, and she confronted him about it and and he just told her to go away. I showed CF, and he was already mad, and he was really mad too, and he understands the Bible better than anyone else. I know. I blocked EK and deleted our conversation. Then came the last time I saw him. It was close to the last day of school, and I sat next to friend 1. And we talked about stuff like history and countries. Yes, I'm a nerd, I know. Me too, up here. So, and EK sat next to him and had the nerve to ask him why I wasn't friends with him anymore. I told him it was because of what happened before, and he lied to friend 4, saying it was because he didn't like video games. And when I told him the real reason, EK acted all dumb as if he didn't know what he said. And when I told him what he said again, he thought that he still thought he was right. And anytime I would joke with friend 4 and I started to get closer to him, EK would call me gay and talk trash about me to his friend next to him. When I went to lunch, he asked if I forgave him, and as if I owed him an apology. I just said I didn't, and then he asked me if I would at least swear at him. I looked at him dead in the eyes and dropped an F-bomb in the most monotone voice you can imagine, which I'm still proud of. I walked away and I haven't seen him since. Well, up here, I think you did the right thing. And really, this kid believes that gay people haven't accomplished anything. Has this guy ever heard of Alan Turing? Alan Turing? Anyone? I mean, he was one of the people who cracked the Enigma machine and basically won World War II for the Allies. So, yeah. And also, And also, he does realize that the Bible only mentions the gay people 6 times, and also, in one of those verses where a lot of homophobic people who use that verse to justify their homophobia, well, people do in fact use it for, well, in in a verse on the next page, it literally says that the mixing of fabrics is forbidden. So, yeah. Okay, EK tries to throw gaming wheel out of the window and breaks my nose. My sister's friend had come over to our house for the day. She was quite young and lives a pretty far away. Her mom came to pick her up in the evening. The mom brought her young son, 9 years old I think, with her as the dad was working and he was too young to stay at home. Uh, I will call the kid EK for now for simplicity. Anyway, I am 15 years old and I play a lot of racing games. My mom invited my sister's friend's mom inside for a cup of tea and suggested that EK might like to go play at my games. I and shows him where my room is. So I'm just getting settled into an F1 race when the door opens and EK walks in. I'm a bit annoyed that he didn't knock, but I say hi and he asks if he can play one of my games. He says that my mom told him that I have some good racing games and I set him an easy F1 race for him since I already got the game loaded. He seemed pretty excited to play. Everything was going fine up to this point as I didn't mind letting the kid have a go. But I should add a bit of info to the rest of the post to make more sense. I'd been playing racing games for a long time and I'm officially licensed and use an officially licensed F1 wheel with strong force feedback. This is where the story gets interesting. For those of you who do not know, force feedback is a system that allows you to feel the behavior of the car through forces and vibrations on the wheel. While it seems fine, it needs to be used safely and can injure if not. So back to the story. I have a race set up for EK and he's ready to go and excited about using the wheel. That's when I tell him that he will have to use a controller before I said the wheel can be dangerous if not used well and can spin back round very fast. I let him around very fast if you let go. The wheel is recommended for ages 16 and up because of this. Although I am only 15, I do not feel comfortable letting someone else's 9-year-old use it. I tell EK that he cannot use the wheel and he instantly starts screaming at me. He says that he is strong enough to use it and that he's probably better than me anyways. I tell him that he can still play, just the controller. But he won't have it. He says that if he cannot use my will, then neither can I, as I am not 16. He reaches behind my setup, unplugs the wheel, picks it up, and struggles with it for a few moments because it is quite heavy. Then walks over to my open window. EK goes to throw the wheel out the window. However, he had unplugged it from the PC and not from the wall, and the cord just stops before he is at the window. He pulls my setup onto the floor. Thankfully, it's not broken, although I am paid off because that I will have to set it all again. My mom hears EK screaming and stuff falling off, and she comes up to my room to open the door, and EK picks up the controller, which I allow him to use, and travels to it and throws it at my face before storming out. Now I have a broken nose, quite a lot of blood, My mom is horrified and wants to rush me to A&E. That's accident and emergency if you're American. Yeah, okay. But I tell you that I will clean my face up. But I tell him that I will clean my face up and how bad it is first. My mom it says okay, and that we will go in 15 minutes. Then goes downstairs. I got to the bathroom. As I wipe the blood off my face, I can hear my mom bollocking. EK, I've never heard her shout in my life before. Thankfully, everything was okay. After that, my nose just had a small break, and none other than and other than that, and a busted lip, I was fine. As for my gaming setup, nothing broken, and I was quickly able to put everything back together. My EK's mom is generally nice. It's just that EK has bad ADHD, and anger issues. I don't really blame him for the incident, to be honest, as this isn't his fault, and he really can't control his anger issues. Well, OP, I can kind of agree with you, but this is kind of why I'm protectionist with my things. So yeah. Okay, so this person asks, does this belong here? Shh. Oh boy, young people YouTube. Shut the F up. Your favorite word is the N-word with the hard R, and you are S-posting man-child. This guy edited mostly all of his comments. I don't know why. He even edited the one in his language telling me to go to school, shaking my head. At the end of the day, he's a racist scumbag who thinks that he can outsmart a professional internet troll. After realizing I understood his language, he couldn't handle getting rolled anymore, and he deleted all his comments. Racist POS call an ambulance. The only one left is the one right above me. Edit 3. Lamau, he posted his convo on r/youngpeople Reddit. Before deleting his comment, called him out over there too. He has also attempted to crop me out of responding to his Chinese, or maybe his cropping is just terrible. Edit 4. Will he ever learn? Edit 5. LMFAO. He deleted it! The post of the conversation goes to show he is all talk and couldn't handle the pressure from me calling him out nonstop. Okay, it's 2021. Who honestly brags about being a professional internet troll? I mean, why would you brag about that? And number 2, I think you're the problem here, EK, so yeah. Okay, so this here is kind of an old one, but we're just gonna go with this. I posted this story almost 2 years ago when it happened, but deleted it because I thought it was just stupid. Looking back, I should have kept it as a warning to young ladies. So I'm posting it here again. For a little context, I'm a physical therapist, and at the time, I was working for a big hospital in my hometown. One day I was at the hospital with a patient just wrapping up his last session when his wife and daughter came to pick him up. I went over to grab some papers for him, basic exercises he could do at home to help speed things along, when his daughter came up to me and started chatting with me. This girl is 14 and was clearly trying to flirt. When she asked me if I was single, wanted to go out with her, I shut it down instantly because I was 22, gay, and engaged. When I told her I was engaged, she got really mad and told me that I should just dump her since she's much younger and probably prettier. Then I informed her that my fiancé is a man, and she got even more upset. Now, now here's why I put this story on this subreddit and not on r/entitled parents. She went to her parents and insisted they talk me into going out with her, and they were having none of it. They told her to leave me alone and go way out in the car, which she did, huffing and puffing and saying how unfair the world was. Her parents apologized and told me she was going through a phase and she really wanted an older boyfriend to show off to her friends. And I couldn't really be mad at her. Annoyed, sure, even slightly amused, not mad. If anything, I was worried about her above all. That kind of behavior is really dangerous. Her parents told her this multiple times, but apparently she didn't think anything about it because she figured predators and traffickers were only on TV. That is a bad mindset, and I hope that after all this, she's grown out of it. Unfortunately, she's not the only girl to have this kind of phase, and I don't know what to think about it. It's been a while, and I really hope she came to her senses a long time ago. Unfortunately, there's no shortage of men who would absolutely take advantage of this kind of girl. Stay safe, young ladies. Yeah, I think this girl really is. Yeah, I think this girl kind of does need to be. I think this girl really needs to be told that predators and human traffickers are not just on TV. They are actually very real, and they are going to take advantage of people like her because they kind of can. And also, I think, and also, I think she, and also, I think her parents really need to talk to her about this. So, I mean, that's just my advice. So. Okay, and this is the last one. Creepy kid at Comic-Con tries to ask my sister, who he had never met, on a date. So this happened a few years back, but I just remembered it and had to tell y'all. For reference, my sister had gone with her friend because she was too socially awkward, like me, and didn't want to go alone. I had dressed up as the scout from Team Fortress 2, and my sister and her friend dressed up as Portal characters. Me and my sister had been working on our costumes for a while, mostly her, so that we would look as realistic as possible. As you may know, real weapons aren't allowed at Comic-Con, and realistic ones are tagged with the orange tag so that you know that they're fake. Me and my dad had worked long on my fake baseball bat made because we wanted to make it look perfect, and it did. The day we went to Comic-Con, my sister's costume made her look amazing along with her friends. I didn't look good bad myself, and I was really proud with my bat. The con went great. We got to see some cosplayers, bought some Steven Universe merchandise, etc. And we were sitting on the bench, taking a break before hitting the road, and a dude dressed as Sans walks up to where me and my sister and my friend were sitting. I don't remember exactly what he said, but here's the gist. Sans Kid. Hi, I'm Sans Kid. Can I have your number? My sister, a little flustered, excuse me. The kid then talks about going on dates and, I kid you not, meeting the father. My sister's friend gives him a glare to which he rolls his eyes. I'm kind of sick of this a-hole, so I stand up, cover the tag on the baseball bat with my hand and put it in my hands and like I'm about to hit him, and he says and say wrong video game universe. His pupils visibly got smaller and said fine. We left after that, and my sister's friend was kind of laughing about it to the car, even though my sister was kind of mad at me. Not sure if this fits the subreddit, but yeah. Well, I personally think that this does fit this subreddit, but yeah, I do think but yeah, and yeah, I think this kid really is jumping the gun. I mean, he could maybe go up and introduce himself, but maybe not just go jump the gun like this. Anyways, I think with that, that's gonna do it for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.